Hello Pioneers, and welcome to the very first Reforj Community Connect. In this series, we're going to take you through the latest in Reforj news, our favorite community moments, and answer your burning questions. So let's get right to it. In mid-April, we brought Reforj to New Games Plus as part of London Games Festival, where I hosted a live interactive build challenge with Joe and Scott from our design team. Visitors to our booth got hands-on with Reforj, and we got to meet some of you, our Pioneer community. And then on the 22nd of April, we released our biggest update yet, Title Update 7. With highly requested features like farming and circuits, and brand new features like the maglev transportation system and updated world generation, and so much more. Be sure to jump into Reforj to check out all of the new features and what we've been up to. 30th of April marked 1 year since the launch of the Reforj Pioneer program, and we thank all of you for playing, following, and being part of this community. Speaking of the community, let's take a look at some of our favorite community moments. TU7 introduced circuits, and they have been a hit. We have been blown away by the incredible, complex circuit builds submitted by our pioneers and creators. Fuf impressed us all with their calculator builds, starting with a 2-bit adder, evolving that into a 4-bit adder, and an 8-bit adder, all in one evening. And now they've built this incredible contraption that can even do multiplication. Gartham made a brilliant series of tutorials on how to use circuits.
Some components don't just continue the signal. They also change the information it carries. The inverter flips the information.
And then dropped the needle on this amazing disco rave build using lumenstone and circuits. Impressive stuff. Tunray created a functional video game in Reforj. Inspired by Space Invaders, Alien Blaster has you use these 3 switches to fire lasers towards enemies, represented by powered doors with lumenstone behind them. There's even a double-digit 7-segment display that displays your score in real time. Truly incredible. TriPoint, who has a long-running series in Reforj, recently built a replica of a lost friend. It's an incredible build. Even more impressive knowing it was built in survival mode. Thank you for sharing that with us. And lastly, we'd like to highlight Fliggy766, whose incredible, accurate bus recreations continue to impress our team. Content like this is the lifeblood of the Reforj community, and we can't wait to see what you build next. Now, let's answer some of your questions. Many of you submitted a wide range of questions to our Q&A thread in our Discord, and while we won't be able to answer all of them, we'll do our best. So let's dive into some answers. First of all, what's been one of the most challenging parts of development so far? Well, when you boot up Reforj, you're presented with this screen that says, while we will try to keep your world safe, unfortunately we cannot guarantee it. And this is true, but our team works incredibly hard with each and every update to retain compatibility with existing worlds, so that's probably one of the biggest challenges in development. When will other ports be coming, for example, PC or PlayStation? Well, we will have some news on the PC version by the end of this year, so keep an eye out. What are the thoughts on an XOR element for circuits? An XOR element will be coming to Reforj. I can't give you an exact time frame, but it is in development. Will there be any other signal color possibilities? And will there be interaction possibilities between magstone and signals and receivers? Yes and yes. What are some of the funniest glitches you've run into during development? There was this one bug when playing in first person would slowly break the third-person character renderer without you noticing. So when you switched into third person, you're suddenly presented with a bit of a jump scare. During early playtesting for the Scavenger, we encountered this one glitch where you could very easily become swarmed by so many of them. Will underwater exploration be a thing at some point? At some point, yes. Are there plans to add more sculpting shapes? Absolutely. We have a compendium of hundreds of shapes that we can implement, and we have only scratched the surface right now, so keep an eye out for those updates. Are there any plans to add bosses to Reforj? There sure are, further down the line. Will there be a way or an item players can use in creative mode to manually spawn mobs? Yes, we have actually concepted how we would like this to work, but it's not a top priority right now, but it is something we intend to implement. What would be the nutritional value of Reforj bread in real life? Finally, I knew eventually someone would ask about the bread lore. So let's take a look. The bread in Reforj appears to be a whole grain loaf, and it's made naturally with 4 prairie grain over a campfire. The closest real-world comparison is probably a traditional handmade loaf of whole grain bread. On average, let's say the loaf would be 800 grams. Traditional whole grain bread made by stone milling grains into stone ground flour, then mixing with water, provides around 1,700 to 2,000 calories, 350 grams of carbohydrates, 60 grams of fiber, 75 grams of protein, and small amounts of natural fat. Because it uses the entire grain, it retains far more fiber, minerals, and B vitamins than refined and processed white bread. While calorie content is similar, whole grain bread is more nutrient dense, digests more slowly, and is generally more filling. So there you are. The natural bread that you've been baking in Reforj is rich in fiber, minerals, and B vitamins. Not to mention, it restores 10 health. If you want the chance to have your questions answered on the next Reforj Community Connect, be sure to join our Discord either by going to the QR code on screen now or by going to discord.gg/Reforj. Once you've joined, head to the Reforj Questions channel, where you'll find a Reforj Community Connect Q&A thread pinned at the top. Thank you for joining us for the very first Reforj Community Connect. See you in game.